Audiobook, your shortcut to knowledge in minutes.
Every person on this planet has 168 hours each week. No matter who you are, where you live, or how full your life feels, you have the same amount of time as everyone else. The difference between people who feel overwhelmed and those who live with clarity and purpose is not luck or money or intelligence. It's how they choose to use their hours. In her book, 168 Hours, You Have More Time Than You Think, Laura Vanderkam invites us to see time differently. Not as something that slips away, but as something we can shape. Because the truth is, you already have more time than you think. A week contains 168 hours. It's the same for everyone. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Let's break that down. If you sleep 8 hours a night, that's 56 hours gone. If you work 40 hours a week, that leaves 72. Even after chores, meals, and commuting, you still have about 30 to 40 hours remaining. That's almost a full work week of free time. So where does it go? Most of us don't actually know. Laura Vanderkam's first lesson is simple but powerful. Track your time. For one full week, note how you spend every hour. When you wake up, when you work, when you relax, and even when you scroll on your phone. What you'll find may surprise you. You'll see that much of what feels like no time is really unseen time, hours lost in habits, distractions, or small decisions. Awareness is the first step toward freedom, because when you see how your time flows, you can finally begin to redirect it. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. People say, "I'm so busy," as if it were a badge of honor. But Vanderkam's research reveals something surprising. Most people are not as busy as they think. When she studied hundreds of time logs, almost no one who claimed to work 80-hour weeks actually did. Most worked closer to 55. The truth is, we often feel busier than we are because our time isn't aligned with what matters. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," Vanderkam challenges us to say, "It's not a priority." That simple change is powerful and uncomfortable. "I don't have time to exercise" becomes, "Exercise isn't a priority." "I don't have time to read" becomes, "Learning isn't a priority." Suddenly, we see the truth. We always have time for what we decide is important. The key is deciding with intention. Once you understand where your hours go, the next step is to choose what truly deserves them. Vanderkam calls these your core competencies, the things you do best, the activities that give meaning, purpose, and satisfaction. Ask yourself, what makes me feel most alive? What work brings real results? What would I regret not spending time on? Those are your priorities, and your schedule should reflect them. You don't build the life you want by saving time. You build the life you want, and then time saves itself. When you fill your week with what truly matters, everything else begins to fall into place. Imagine your perfect week. Not a vacation, but a beautiful, balanced version of your real life. What would your mornings look like? How would you spend your evenings? Who would you be with? Vanderkam suggests writing down this vision, your ideal week. Then compare it with your current one. What can you change? What can you adjust? Maybe you wake up 30 minutes earlier to read or walk. Maybe you replace an hour of scrolling with a creative hobby. Maybe you plan meals ahead to save time and stress. Small choices shape big outcomes. Each week, make one small change that moves you closer to your ideal. Over time, you'll notice life begins to feel lighter and more aligned. Work takes up a large part of our 168 hours. But not all work is meaningful. Too often, our days are filled with distractions, emails, notifications, endless meetings. To reclaim your work hours, Vanderkam recommends 3 simple habits. First, batch similar tasks. Check emails twice a day instead of all day. Second, protect your peak energy hours. Do your most creative or strategic work when you feel most alert. Third, question the necessity of every task. If it doesn't move your goals forward, it may not deserve your time. Deep, focused work produces results. Distraction only consumes hours. True productivity is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. Time is life, and life is connection. Vanderkam reminds us that relationships are not luxuries. They are the heart of a meaningful life. But connection requires time, intentional time. Plan family dinners. Schedule a walk with a friend. Put your loved ones on your calendar the same way you schedule meetings. 10 minutes of real conversation is worth more than an hour of distracted togetherness. When you look back on your life, you won't remember the errands or emails. You'll remember the laughter, the warmth, the love. So give your relationships the time they deserve. Every yes you give takes time from something else. That's why learning to say no is one of the most powerful time skills you can learn. You don't need to explain or apologize. A kind, firm no thank you protects your energy and your hours. Say no to what doesn't align with your priorities, so you can say yes to what truly matters. Boundaries are not walls. They're gates that protect what's sacred. Not everything in life needs your direct attention. Some tasks can be outsourced, some can be automated, and some can simply be let go.
Ask yourself, does this task require me, or could someone else handle it? Automate what's repetitive. Delegate what's not essential. Eliminate what doesn't bring value. Every minute you save is a minute you can invest in something more meaningful. Your time is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. We often feel guilty for resting, but Vanderkam reminds us rest is not a waste of time. Rest is how we recover, recharge, and return stronger. Schedule rest as you would any important appointment. Take walks, read, nap, breathe. Your body and mind need stillness. Without rest, even the best plans crumble. Remember, you are not a machine built for produce. You are a human being built to live. So many people say, I wish I had time to learn something new. But when you look honestly, you'll find that time is already there, waiting. 2 hours a day on your phone adds up to 14 hours a week. That's 700 hours a year. What could you do with 700 hours? Learn a language. Start a project. Write a book. Small, consistent effort compounds into something extraordinary. Even 30 minutes a day of focused learning can change your life in a year. Don't wait for someday. Someday is already here. At the heart of 168 hours lies one truth. Live with intention. Don't drift through your days reacting to life. Design them consciously. When you say yes, mean it. When you rest, enjoy it. When you work, give it your full focus.
Your life is the sum of your hours. Each hour is a choice, and those choices create your story. Once you start thinking in weekly blocks, in 168 hours, you stop obsessing over daily perfection. If you miss a workout today, you still have 6 more days. If you worked late one night, you can rest the next. Time becomes flexible, forgiving, kind. You begin to live with balance instead of guilt, with awareness instead of overwhelm.
So here's the truth. You don't need to find more time. You already have it. 168 hours every single week. It's your choice how to spend them. Will you fill them with noise or with meaning? With reaction or with purpose? Laura Vanderkam's message is simple and freeing. You are not a victim of time. You are its designer. When you take ownership of your hours, you take ownership of your life. Track your time. Protect your priorities. Build your ideal week. Because when you master your 168 hours, you master your life. You have more time than you think. Use it well.